Tonto podcast.
And this is a celebratory beer, I think. I always treat it as one.
Cool.
My favorite, absolute favorite Saison, top 5 beers of all time. I wouldn't mix it up like that.
Speaking of, I don't know if Steven showed you, I sent a really cool picture from 1951, which somebody took outside of DiLisio's.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I say your guys' name, that particular image comes to mind, and I've never actually had one. It was always painted by my mom.
Yeah.
My mom would talk about DiLisio's, and then so I was just painted, and then so when I saw this picture online, I thought that was super tight.
I think you've sent it to me before.
Not that one. That was the first time I've
definitely seen that picture before. We might have the picture. I didn't know that it was the grand opening picture, though. That's what the article you sent said, that it was the grand opening.
It was the grand opening of Raton Pass, or the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The El Raton.
Yeah.
Now owned by the guy who owns Sexy Pizza here in town.
All right, so this
Keep answering as I
Saison DuPont, is this paint?
Paint? No, not quite. Not quite. It's an old school beer, though. They've been making this beer for, I don't know, probably 150 years. Probably more than that, actually. Do they have a date on this? Of when they...
No. It just says classic style, brewed at one of Europe's last farmhouse breweries. Product of Belgium. Wild. Belgium's far away.
It is. They got great beer there. And like a Saison, really delicate beer. It's kind of not
They don't
champagne-y.
have no good cans.
Well, this is the first time I've ever had this beer in a can.
This shit just cracked on me. It didn't even... I had to grab it from a different place. Man.
Yeah.
I got a faulty can. Who made these, Ball?
Probably, I don't know. But I've never even seen it in a can until like this year. Before, it's always like a bottle format, big one singular bottle. And then they started doing 4-packs of cans of it. And it's awesome beer. I love it. It's, like I said, top 5 beers of all time for me. I think it's so delicious. And I'm curious to know how you think it tastes.
This is top 5 for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
See, my brother and my dad both are in the auto industry, the collision. You know what I mean?
Bodywork.
Industry. I'm talking about running teams that do these types of repairs. And the paint that they always used is DuPont. Right? That's like one of them, at least back in the day. I don't know if my brother does now. They maybe got something else. But Pops back in the day, they had like, I would go to their paint booth. My dad would give me little jars of like touch-up paint to use paint on stuff. And that was always a DuPont. So that's the first thing that my mind thinks about when it like sees this word DuPont. And then it's wild because I could like close my eyes and that's what I would imagine that paint would taste like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got some like fennels and different flavors going on from the farmhouse. You know, classic for these type of beers.
It tastes like a chemistry set.
DuPont is a chemical company. That's why they call it Saison DuPont.
Yeah, it's got to be. What does DuPont mean, Eric?
It's a family name.
DuPont previously devised as DuPont, or DuPont. Do that. Of the bridge.
Of the bridge. Would you look at that? Suspension.
Hold on, we gotta find the real one. Slang.
Yeah, look up DuPont. Oh, DuPont slang in Urban Dictionary.
The company started in Delaware by a French dude named DuPont. What a surprise. That's stupid.
Yep. Chemicals and shit.
My dad was laid off by DuPont Pharmaceutical when Bristol brought it up.
Yeah. So is DuPont Terps part of the same family?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
But I don't know. It
It's
could be
definitely-
the same people.
This definitely ain't on my top 5, but it's cool. It's all right.
What are your top 5 beers?
Top 5 beers right now off the top of my head in no particular order. Okay?
Okay, that's fair.
Whatever's available, I guess. I guess I'm not that picky when it comes to beer.
Hi-ho, Silva!
All right.
Eric, do you want a sipper?
That's a brain hop.
Do you want a West Coast IPA?
Brain Hop was my nickname in middle school. Yeah.
I know that's right. Hey,
I don't know what you said. I had the headphones on, but yeah.
Man.
See, we live
See, the undisclosed locations
Ooh,
just
West Coast,
change
yeah.
sometimes. You know what I mean?
West Coast.
And
Thank you.
and we just gotta move with the undisclosed location as if it is a wave on which we're riding. You know what I'm talking about?
See, the fun thing about living in the future is that I can walk around and y'all can hear me all fucking cool.
Hey.
How y'all doing? We're in.
Shout out to Eric.
I'm a filler. You probably hear me twice. That probably sounds terrible. I'm filling in for Steven as he's getting his drinks.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that crack? If you didn't, that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, they have a mic pointed that way. In any case, how's it going over there, Eric? It's been about a month since I've seen you. It's been like 3 months since they've seen you.
I'm doing cool. I just want to know what the dog has to say.
That fool don't talk. That's a good dog, too. He's not a snitch. I appreciate his
he's not.
silence.
Yeah. Steven,
Yeah,
how you
no.
doing over there? Are you still debating?
Do we want to pour this now?
We can,
I mean,
I'll let you pour it later.
How about
I'll-
you come over here and figure it out since we're live already? And everybody's missing you. And somehow, it's just not a podcast without you.
Hey, Mama DiLisio,
Hey, Mama DiLisio.
Monica
how's it doing?
Loya, and Cindy.
What's
Thank
up,
y'all
Money?
for being
What's
here
up,
with
Cindy?
us.
Sister Cindy. I'm going to start saying that like she's a nun. My sister Cindy. When's the last time any of y'all watched motherfucking, you know the one, with Whoopi?
Sister Act?
Sister Act.
1?
Or 2. 2 was the one with Lauryn Hill, right?
Yes.
Which one had Lauryn Hill in it?
I think it's 2.
I mean,
I don't know. I haven't seen either of those movies in,
it's been a minute.
10 years.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long minute. It's been about a month
Probably
since we've
longer
been here.
than 10 years.
What's happened in the last month, Steven? Talk to me.
Golly, what's happened in the last month? Gosh, in my world, just getting used to the little one, new little dog, Potato, which I'm sure she'll come through at some point.
That's a chick?
Yeah. That's a chick.
I mean, or no.
Yeah, I don't know. She's a special dog.
Yeah,
She's interesting, but she's a good dog. She's learning though. She's got some hurdles.
Yeah, that'll happen. I feel like this is the first podcast we ever had with a dog, and then I remembered that we had Boo in all kinds of episodes.
And Gus was in one, probably unreleased, but we did record at this is actually the 5th location, because we did do an episode or
At
2
your house.
at my condo.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
Yeah. Phew. Golly, and Gus was in that one. I think he was barking in that one because he was a little bit not as well trained or behaved at that point.
Oh, yeah, he don't talk no more.
Hey, there's
No.
a
Only
single
when-
comment from Monica Loya that just says "bitch."
She's talking about the dog.
Oh, yeah.
She is a bitch too, Monica. You're spot on. She's in a different way. She's a bitch, but thanks, Gus. That's great.
In a different way besides being a bitch?
She's not like mean or snappy.
Does she have
or
to
like,
be a mom?
she's not bitchy.
No, but I mean like the word bitch, the literal word bitch.
No, I think it just has to be a female dog.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good bitch.
That's a wild thing to say.
Well,
I call my cat a bitch all the time and it feels so offensive. That's why I do it. Because she don't speak English. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if these dogs speak English. Gus knows a good amount of English, but Potato, she's still pretty new to the language.
Not if we don't know one word of English. Say something.
I could say something I guarantee he knows, but he'll start going nuts.
No, you say like the park or something? I'm afraid to say it loud. I'm like, what if I say the wrong thing?
You got one of the words, but that needs to be paired with another word for him to like really get on one.
Winter Park. He's a snowboarder.
No, not since the accident.
Never summer.
Not since then. Gus, go lay down. Go lay down.
Right.
He does this too when I'm on like working on Zoom, working from home, and I'm on a Zoom call. Especially if it sounds like I'm like teaching, he'll come up and jump up on my lap, and like then he starts hearing all the oohs and ahs, or he just likes me petting him when he does it. Because if he jumps in my lap, I'll pet him. But every time,
I wonder what he thinks about the world.
All the time I wonder. He's a pretty smart dog, but he's very nonverbal. He won't talk or won't bark or like whine too much or anything like that, which is nice. But he does communicate in like other ways and even like audibly, but it's not like barking. But it's like sniffs and the way he like licks his lips and wags his tail, and we've gotten to know him pretty well, and now he knows he's the center of the show, I think.
What do you think would happen if you put him in an elevator?
I think he would be confused and out of balance.
You go into a room, the door closes, it opens again, and you're in a completely different place.
Imagine he goes into an elevator by himself, though.
But I feel like he feels the same way like that about a car, right? Like that he gets in this like box, he then is like in this box.
You think this was too dumb to see that you guys were moving, though?
Yeah, but in an elevator, he'd feel that we were moving, and he'd be like a little bit like, what the fuck? But like, that lasts no more than a minute. Like, what building were we in? The Empire fucking State Building going up 108 floors? No, I don't think so. I think he'd be like, what the fuck? And then he'd be done with it.
I think the thought would be like that the doors close and then they open and it's something else.
I think you'd be fine with that.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, I don't think they... I think they're pretty quick to adjust to their environment, you know?
No doubt. You see they're releasing wolves into Colorado. Even though we have wolves already, they come from Wyoming. And we've tracked them. They're going to release more.
How did we end up with releasing wolves?
So Governor Polis's partner, his husband, I believe. I think they're married, right? He is an animal activist. And so he's really big on the protect all the animals, get rid of hunting. Like he's like the anti-hunting type of animal activist.
The uninformed activist.
Yeah, he's like, naive, I would call him, in the sense of not realizing that the reason we have such healthy populations of a lot of these animals we're used to seeing, like elk and deer and the ones that people enjoy to go look at and see the herds, that those exist specifically because of hunters
and are important to the ecosystem, right? Like some of them keystone species. I don't know, what are the keystones? Are there any keystone species in Colorado?
I'm sure there are. I know we've got some huge herds, and that the population of the herds in Wyoming significantly went down when wolves were introduced there.
What population did?
Elk.
Elk.
And deer, I believe.
Because of the young?
No, just because of predation. You know, wolves are very smart,
Yeah.
extremely effective hunters. You know, and so they was taking over the population over there, and so it's like a wild thing where it's like it looks like wolves would be cool to see, but honestly they wouldn't be that cool to see. They're pretty scary. You know what I mean?
And they're just, like big dogs.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and they're smart. They're not dumb.
No.
They hunt in packs. They're super duper wise to their surroundings and observant.
Mm-hmm.
They can calculate risk really quickly. Also calculate and communicate plans, like on a dime. And yeah, that's why there was so many old childhood tales of the wolves being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers would take kids.
Yeah.
Like
Hashtag Red Robin Hood.
All right, we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna give you guys 3 guesses to figure out what the keystone species is in Colorado.
I think I know one.
I have one that came up on the Google search, so we're just gonna go with the top one. First
Bison.
guess. No.
Damn.
elk.
No. Think smaller.
Yeah. Sage
Ferrets.
grouse.
So yeah, one more time.
Sage grouse.
Great name. Don't know what that is.
Ferrets.
Ferrets.
Is a
yeah.
prairie dog a ferret? Because they're
No.
prairie dogs.
No, but
Those
that
are
makes
rats.
sense.
those are ground rats.
Keystone species, though. What's the definition of a keystone species?
Great question. I don't know.
It's not on the same page.
Are keystone species, which means that they are a species upon which other animals depend, and that the removal of these species from the ecosystem would cause changes to ecosystem function. Prairie dogs are prey for species like that. For hawks, ferrets, badgers, and bobcats.
I told you there's ferrets.
There's native ferrets to
Fuck
Colorado?
yeah, I don't know. I ain't never been there. Never been a ferret before. The fuck? I do know, however, that wolves are wild. And I don't know. I can't say that I'm against releasing them into the wild. But I'm not for it. If that makes sense. I feel like that's a gamble.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. And didn't they let us vote on that?
Yeah, we voted for it, I believe.
Yeah, and us as
because,
in like
because it's presented in this animal activist type of way where it pulls on your guilt of course I love animals, and of course I don't want, of course I want to restore the natural balance of nature, not without a full understanding that nature has already been affected by human civilization to a point where for it to go back to the thing that they're acting like we'd have to like get rid of cities in the mountains, in towns, and get rid of those highways. And it's like, but without doing that, you can't actually restore the thing that they're promising will be restored by releasing these animals that were eradicated from their native area, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's a, I understand why people would vote that way with that framing, without realizing that them's are monsters.
Those are wild animals, everyone. Like
Some of the most intelligent predators that have ever existed.
Yeah. Why we domesticated them?
Super smart. Well, like, you think your dogs are smart? Those are wolves, B. Like, these things are like that, except for relying on natural instincts of hunger and starvation,
Yeah.
relinquishing that need in your brain to eat. That we all. So it's not like they're evil.
Survive.
They're just really fucking good at it, and that's a wild thing to just release.
Yeah, and now it's turned into this like abomination of, crossbreeding, and not crossbreeding, but like inbreeding and creating these like little like designer dogs. Like this wasn't like a dog that was like helpful for something.
Yeah.
This was a dog that was meant to like sit on your lap and like hang out in France and like kick it. And this is what she does. She's a little weird, but they share the same DNA.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that she's here because, unfortunately, some of the first ones they'll go after are going to be the people's pets and shit like that. That's when,
Yeah, she's pretty safe in here.
You got your ring cam video of your, best four-legged friend being carried away by a pack. Probably won't be the best PR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For that particular cause.
That's a vicious
But,
way to put it.
I mean,
My poor little potato. No,
yeah, keep her out here.
the bulldozer can handle herself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, getting jumped. Wolves like to jump, fellas. You know what I mean?
Not a fair fight. That's their plan.
Nah, it's not part of their agenda. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, what day is it? What are we talking about? But wolves and shit. It's February
Wolves and
21st,
shit.
2024. Our second episode of the year.
Yeah.
My name is Justin. To my left, your right, that's going to be Steven.
Hey there.
Straight ahead of us, producing always, Eric.
Dogs speak in different languages. If you ask somebody that speaks Spanish what noise a dog makes, we say wow wow. Guau. It's guau. But in English, it's wolf. That's all I got.
And this Lone Ranger vs. Tonto up in this motherfucker. Bitch, I'm talking about.
That's it. In the fifth undisclosed location.
That's fifth undisclosed location. We're still working on the sound areas. We might make some adjustments but for today, y'all gonna have to deal with us because we gonna talk about some important shit. Now I'm talking about Steven, hit him with some important shit.
My son just turned 12. That's another milestone. He's
Merry Christmas.
True tween, I think is the name of this age. The worst named age, I think. Tween. That's a terrible. What's the word? Portmanteau? We looked it up once, right? Didn't we?
Pimento? That sounds like some shit you eat.
Portmanteau, I think, is French.
It sounds like some shit that you would give me if I came to your house for dinner. Or sit down and enjoy some portmanteau. I'm like, okay.
Portmanteau.
Cool. What is it?
A motel is a portmanteau. It's a word
Motor
blending-
hotel.
A word blending the sounds and combining the meanings of two others. No, it's actually motor and hotel.
Yeah, that's what I said. Motor hotel.
Oh, I thought you said mother hotel. I don't know why. And then brunch, breakfast, and lunch.
Yep. And
Ooh, podcast is a portmanteau.
tween.
A made-up word coined from combination of the words iPod and
maybe-
broadcast.
I knew
didn't know
that.
What is?
I
what
knew
is-
that.
Podcast is a combination of an iPod and broadcast.
Yeah, I
But
knew
no,
that.
tween is not one of those. What is the word?
English is my second language. Don't ask me.
This is a third language. This isn't English. We're all on the same level here, Eric. Help us out. You got the phone to help you. Have the phone say it.
Phone say what? I don't even know what to ask.
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Am I getting close? No.
I'm trying to figure out what tween is.
Are you
but-
trolling us? Is portmanteau a
Is
thing?
it contraction? No.
Yeah, contractions.
Contractions? No.
Might as well.
Tween?
What do we got going on up here with the portmanteau that you got going on in this bottle?
This?
It's portmentizing right now.
I don't know. What's the name of this one? Oh, yeah. Louis.
Truncation.
Truncation.
Tween is a truncation?
It is the word between, but truncated or a portmanteau if
Between and teen?
if it means tweenager, then it's a truncation of a portmanteau word.
Moving on.
I love words, but what are we doing?
Just more words that ravel together to make something I don't understand even less than I did when we started. Now I'm confused.
Oh man. Good stuff. All right. So what do we got over here?
Yeah, so this is a beer from Westbound and Down. It's a barley wine. I don't think we've ever had a barley wine on the show because they're kind of a lot to handle. Like these beers are generally like pretty rich, can be kind of like, a little upfront with the alcohol. I've heard this one is good. I bought it a long time ago because they're good to age. They usually do better with age. And this was bottled in 2019. And these were known as like a pretty good barley wine, like nationally one that people will seek out from other states, right? Good enough that people would say like, they don't distro that beer out to my state. I'll find a way to pay somebody on the internet to get that beer to me trading or paying more than the, what we would pay here from the brewery. This brewery's out in, where's Tommy Knocker at? What's that place? Idaho
Tommy
Springs.
Knocker over here. Oh, yep.
Idaho Springs, and this is right down the street from Tommy Knocker, the old school brewery that's been there forever. But Westbound and Down has been there for, I don't know, maybe, I guess like 10 years. Probably have to check that, Eric. Westbound and Down when they got there. But it's right down the road from Tommy Knocker. You can see it from the highway when you go up I-70. But Westbound and Down does great beer. We've had their beer on the podcast. We had a Hefeweizen from them called Don't Hassle the Hef. Great name. Really good beer. One you actually, I think, liked.
I had that?
Or maybe you didn't like that one because you said it tasted like fucking like an ice cream truck bubblegum nose or something like that. I don't remember. But
That sounds like something I would like. You talk about the eyeballs in the Ninja Turtles
in
popsicle?
the Mario Pop? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The nose in the Mario
that's
Pop.
the best part. What do you mean?
Yeah, definitely. But this one, like I said, I've never had this style, but they release this like once a year. They usually like only do a limited release of bottles. I don't know if this is like one of something, but yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be good. It could be terrible.
All right, pour it. Let's see what happens in your
elevating
fancy ass.
adventure since 2015. Also, fun fact: Tommy Knocker is a ghost of a man killed in a mine.
Wow.
That's wild. So many knocks on the thing they call miners Tommies. Dang, I thought for sure our representative of the Caucasian caucus would know something about what miners call each other. You ever knew any miners?
Not personally.
Yeah, me either. Never met a miner.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Potatoes decided one of Eric's tools was a toy.
Yeah. All right, so can we drink it right away, or do we got to let the fucking tannin settle?
You need to let your tannin settle yourself. And I can tell you're excited about this one.
I mean, you kind of hyped it up. It's like 5 years old.
Yeah. It could taste, though, like leather and cherries. Like, that's kind of the flavor profiles we might be hitting here. Or it might taste like chocolate and caramel. Or it might taste like whiskey. Or it might... I don't know. I don't know too much about how they make it. Usually these barley wines like this are aged in like whiskey barrels or some kind of barrel to kind of round out the flavor before it even goes into the bottle. I guess I could read what the bottle says. That might be probably helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
A blend of English barley wine ale aged in part finished rye whiskey barrels for 9 months. As regal as his namesake, except malty richness and notes of creme brulee and nutty toffee with soft residual spice from the rye. Bottled spring 2019. Alcohol 11.5% by volume.
Creme brulee.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to taste like. So I feel like I didn't get an answer. Do I get to drink it yet, or?
Yeah, you can drink it.
You're not going to though?
Yeah, I'm going to drink mine.
Should I drink yours instead? I feel like you poisoned mine, boy.
You saw me open the bottle and pour it.
This feels like the Princess
Oh
Bride.
man, I can smell it from here. I didn't even have to like bring it to my face. Holy buckets.
Actually, iocane powder has no smell. No odor. Ooh, goddamn. Holy shit. Does it make more alcohol as it gets older?
No.
So that's just how much they it's a fucking Four Loko. That's just how much they put in there, huh?
This is what they meant to do. Yeah, this is on target for this style even.
How do I hold this?
I'd hold it from the bottom so that you're not going to like warm it up with your hand too much. Because I mean, it's at room temperature, and you should drink this beer at room temperature so you can really taste it. But cheers to the new undisclosed location.
Sorry.
Cheers to all y'all at home.
Was I supposed to smell it first? You're doing like a mouthwash thing. Was I supposed to do that?
Yeah, you got taste buds all over your mouth, man. You gotta let them all feel it.
What do you think?
I think it's really good.
Well, what do you fucking think, my guy?
Let me get another one. I mean, initial impressions on the first sip kind of like starts a little bit hot, especially on the nose. Like you can really smell the alcohol on it, like the whiskey barrels, and has that little like kind of kick of when you put the shot up to your nose or like up to your mouth when you take a shot of whiskey, and it kind of hits you with that little like ethanol kind of that's all evaporating out of there. And then when you get the liquid in your mouth, though, it's like really smooth. It is like if you've had creme brulee and you like put that little like pudding ass shit in your mouth, and it's real soft. And this just has like a really delicate and nice and soft mouthfeel for how alcoholic it tastes. Because like, you know, you drink whiskey and it's like smoother than water, right? How like liquidy and like quickly it will go down your throat. This has a little bit more body to it, you know, in a nice way that it fills out, because then it hits you with like this big kind of caramely sweet note, right? That hits it real hard. But there is like a little bit of bitterness kind of underneath it all that rounds it out a little bit. So it's not like cloyingly sweet. It doesn't like hit your glands, you know, when you have something real sweet and it like makes your saliva glands kind of, you know, get that. You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
When you talking about
salivation, like when it makes you salivate like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel on the first sip.
Monica said this description is making her blush.
You're welcome.
And I was going to ask if you could like write my Tinder bio, like describing me like that.
Sure, I will. Yeah. That would be fun. Can we do it on the show?
Yeah.
We're going to swipe for Eric on the show.
We'll do it on Chispa, the Latino dating app.
Yeah, I think what I might write would translate well in Spanish.
No, they speak English.
I'm sure they do. You don't write your bio in Spanish though on that site?
No, you don't write a bio.
You don't write a bio? I don't know how it works.
Does. I don't know either.
Oh, sure you don't.
I mean, I have it. I don't use it though.
Is it just, what is it? What is it called? Latinos, what?
Chispa.
Chispa. Oh, I've seen ads for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. They have a weird live streaming section where like you can just go on there and live stream.
That's all you do on there?
Yeah.
Just keep a constant live stream. And then people like swipe on your stream?
Yeah. Boy, got to pay rent somehow.
It's just you cuddling your dog.
Yeah, this beer is wild.
Yeah, what do you guys think of this beer?
I remember back in the day, there was this kid around the block. His name was Donald. He was a kind of hood ass kid, and we would like hang out, ride bikes and shit. One time we were riding bikes over by the bike jumps, which were off of like
Jewel
and Sheridan.
I know
right?
the jumps.
We were right
There's
there.
a house there now.
Mm-hmm. We were over there.
Good
at the
fishing
bike.
hole too.
Fucking name, we did that too. We were over there at the bike jumps, and then we were killing it, right? We were feeling ourselves, and we were riding on our way back. And when we got back, he was like we should celebrate. And I was like, yeah, cool. So we went into his house, and he grabbed this bottle of liquor, right? And it was marked. And he went and poured a little baby shot for like 5 of us. And we're like, what the fuck? And then we watched him add water back to it to get it to the level, right? And looking back on it now, I assume it was probably kind of watered down already. And I remember when we took that shot, it was like the first time I'd ever tasted alcohol. And it was like some watered down fucking wild turkey or something. And I imagine that this is what they were going for, was that feeling of, man, I'm never gonna do this ever again. That was absolutely terrible. And I hope my mom don't find out.
She might now.
I know. There's a part of me that wants to hide right now. I'm like, fuck. My mom knows she's watched. We just tried this thing. Yeah, it was awful.
And that's what the...
For what it's worth, he never told us he was going to pour us shots. He just said, let's celebrate. And we went over to his house. We're
So
like,
it was a
okay.
surprise.
Yeah. We were like probably 11, 12.
Yeah, because this tastes a lot more like...
It was absolutely terrible.
Like alcohol than it does a beer, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
It
more
tastes
like
it tastes like watered down whiskey.
like a mixed drink. It takes more like I don't know. It's hard to describe without trying it. That's why these beers are so special, because like it takes a lot to craft this beer, right? To make this happen this good and not have it
Good.
not have it like turn out bad, and invest that much time, because like I said, it spent, how much did it say, 9 months in whiskey barrels? So it takes a month to brew it, 9 months in barrels, then you take it and bottle it, and now we're waiting 5 years later to drink it. Like, this beer tasted different, most likely, than it does now, than when it came out in 2019, because they mature and change, and there's a little oxidation in there too. You can taste it has like this like a little
it's
bit
rusty.
of cardboard kind of aftertaste to
Shit
it.
tastes rusty.
Yeah. But that's like a quality trait in an aged beer that like holds up this well with all the other flavors. If like the sweetness dropped out or the bitterness drops out, it gets unbalanced where it's like kind of hard to drink. But you can see you want to go back for another little sip, and like you don't want to like chug this, right? But you do kind of want to just another sip, and you set it down just like a cocktail, because it drinks more like a cocktail, but the body of it is so much different. It doesn't taste like it doesn't feel like you're drinking liquor, right? It doesn't have that wateriness to it. It's got some body. It's got a little thickness to it. I like it. That's my favorite part. It just has like so creamy, right? For a beer.
Creme brulee.
There's a comment from a Barbara Romero that says, "You're grounded."
I knew it.
That's awesome. Dang.
Okay, I should ground myself after this.
The first time you come over and you get grounded, when you come over here, your mom's she's gonna hate me.
Yeah.
Think I'm trouble.
Steve is a bad influence.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess I don't absolutely hate it, but it reminds me of a lighter version of any time I've ever had expensive whiskey. I've gone with the homies and they're like, because I won't buy it. I'm not down.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody just got paid or something. Wants to put down whatever for some shot of whiskey I would definitely never pay for. I'm like, all right, cool. We're supposed to like sip it the same way. And I'm like, man, these folks are like, oh, it's so good. So much body. Fucking smoky this and this stuff. I'm like, man,
This tastes like dirt.
this tastes like wild turkey. This Maker's Mark. It's all the same. Can I just shoot it yet?
So can I finish it now?
Yeah. That's how I feel about this.
I mean, you can, but
I guess I feel like that almost. It's not all the way that, but it's close.
yeah, 5 years in the making, and we've gotten this far. One of the first beers.
I've got one of the DiLisios.
One of those beers. We still have. Oh, there's like a tequila aged beer over there too, isn't there?
I don't know. There's like 2 bottles up there.
Dang, that one might taste terrible. Because I don't think that beer was made at the
Let's
quality
do
of
it.
this one. But yeah, you should bring it over next time, and we can. Do you have 2 of those? And the DiLisio beer?
I thought we drank one, but I'm not sure.
We might have drank one. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's a unreleased episode as well. We got to do something with some of these unreleased episodes. Maybe start a Patreon or
I don't
something.
even know where they're at. Do you have them?
I don't know.
Never mind.
I don't even know if I have them.
Unreleased and unfound.
I mean, I could check, but I don't know. In any case, what's
Unreleased
going on in
episode.
the world, Steve?
Gosh, what is going on in the world?
What's not going on in the world?
Peace.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
A lot of a lot of violence, a lot of destruction happening, especially on the African continent. Seems like that's a lot going on there.
What's going on over there?
Well, pretty close there. You got the conflict with Israel and the Palestinians. And then you got some, I don't know all the details, but there's there's a bunch of stuff going on in Ethiopia with Somalia, I think. And then the Congos, I think in unrest, the DROC, is that what it's called?
I believe so.
Democratic Republic of the Congo. I think there's some weird shit going on there. A lot of violence happening across that whole continent. And then I don't know what else is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good,
Getting that toffee note kind of coming out now.
a good bird's eye view.
Donald Trump released a shoe.
Donald
No
Trump
way.
released a shoe.
He got fined, or they
Y'all don't know
told him
the
he's
story?
got to pay $500 million.
It looks like have you ever watched Rocket Man, the Disney movie?
A long time ago. I know the actor. It's in isn't that guy
comedian?
in Half Baked too?
Yes, he is. And in that movie, they're in space,
Yep.
and he can't go to sleep because the monkey takes his
Right.
sleeping pod.
That's right.
So while he's awake, he takes the space blankets and makes shiny old outfits. And that fool's shoes look like they're made from one of them Rocket Man space blankets.
Fucking awesome. Did he wear them?
I don't know.
I
Because
don't know, but he got
if
booed
they
off
look
the
like
stage.
where?
It was at a sneaker convention.
Wrong crowd. Who made the shoe?
Some designer.
Yeah, who? And why would they?
Uh-huh.
He's got to
there's
pay $500 million for something.
There you go.
wait.
I'd
this
make a
is-
shoe for $500
wait,
million.
the shoe is tied to this fine? I don't get it. Eric, what are you telling me here?
Oh, I thought you were saying he got paid $500 million for. Oh yeah, he did get a fine. I thought it was $300 million.
It was like
500?
453 or 493 million or something like that.
Yeah.
It was about $500 million.
Shoes are $399 a pair.
How many pairs you getting? They got them in size 13? Probably not.
They are not designed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of their respective parties.
Wait, so he has nothing to do with it?
I don't know.
He endorsed a shoe?
He must have.
Is that where we're at? He's endorsing shoes?
Hey.
That's what he endorses, is the tinfoil shoe? Tinfoil blanket, space blanket shoe?
That's what it looks like.
They are owned by CIC Ventures 45 Footwear LLC.
Huh.
I don't know.
Do
what
they
the fuck
own
that means.
anything else that I would know? So it's just some kind of random company.
It's registered in Sheridan, Wyoming.
That's a place.
Yeah, I don't know.
That makes shoes, I guess. I didn't know they made shoes in Wyoming. Maybe that's where they make space blankets.
Maybe that's where they make space blankets in Wyoming. That would be a perfect place to do it.
Yeah.
It's cold up there.
They're needed,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. We're in a wild place where that's the dude running against What's going? Is this boy like? Is he gonna make it?
Brandon?
I don't know if he's gonna make it.
I don't know either. And I don't care.
I mean, I somewhat care, you know.
What do you care about there?
I care about how this affects the continued and like multiplied control that these two parties have over the election. And it's like, I don't know. I care in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would be tight to have to have a president that you voted for again. You know?
Yeah.
And not just like presented to you as an option.
Yeah.
You know?
Here are the worst options we can find.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah, like, it would be cool to choose one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or have the opportunity to choose one.
Or like not have the same thing just go down that happened 4 years ago. Result, I don't think changes too much. Like, it changes like narratives, changes like the news, and Trump loved to do speeches.
But how long is this system like this? The way it's devolving? Is
Well,
it like, how long is that sustainable?
I think we'll see later this year. I think I would. I don't know if I'd bet on it. I might bet on it. $5-10 on what's that betting site you can bet on, like things, world events, predict it.
Oh yeah, predict it.
Yeah. I might.
Don't remind me.
I might throw a bet on, like, what do you think the over under is on percent of votes? How many people voted? Like, what's it normally? What, 35% or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah.
And I would predict that that's going to be down. And how down, I think, is kind of where we can judge the answer to your question of how much longer we have. Like, if it's real down, you can tell, like, people have lost faith in, like, that system.
Yeah.
Like, right here, me, I don't want to participate in that.
Me either.
And a lot of people don't. And if we see a big drop, and can you imagine Trump gets elected on 10%, 12% of the population's vote, right? And the unrest of, like, what the Democrats will flip out about.
I mean, it's
that.
going that way.
That's what I'm saying. And it might be there. It might take another 2 presidential election cycles to really get there to 10% of the population, right? It could, because they're going to do some fucking goofy bullshit over the next 6 months before ballots start to drop into boxes, that they're going to rally the troops of the Democrats and get people to vote on some bullshit because, just whatever thing they put in front of us and rally votes for, and for who, and whoever the DNC picks for that. And the GOP does the same thing, but not as much anymore because Trump has control of them, right?
Yeah.
Whoever runs for president doesn't have control of the DNC anymore, right? They're just a pawn in their scheme. And the RNC, or the National Convention, like, they're a mess too because they're run,
So what do you think people can do? Right, without thinking so much about the overall politics, then, because it sounds like, and I've been feeling like this for some time too. Like, that it's on autopilot into a wall, and I can't stop it personally that way. But in like the wake of this vehicle going towards a wall, becomes this split among the population where we don't relate to each other. We don't get along. And it's like, how do we fix the people if not the system? You know what I mean? Like, how do we disagree without it being a judgment?
Taylor Swift says it.
even that.
She crosses the aisle.
Yeah, but even that is splitting in its own ways. You know, it's like I don't know. It's and I'm guilty of it too. You know, I think it's like an innate human programming. But how do we like?
Well, and it's a human programming that they have, manipulated.
For sure.
And I think that's the first step, is admitting that that's a real thing inside you, that you have been manipulated by the propaganda of our country, of what to believe, from our schools to what we see on TV, here on the radio, all of this, that is all to get you to play into that system that you're talking about. And I think you first have to acknowledge, even if it's not like everything, you first have to acknowledge that you might have been played a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, because everybody has, literally everybody. And I can definitely talk for the folks that look like me, been played a ton too. All of us. And I think you have to start there, and then you have to start listening. Like I still listen to news, but I listen to it with a different ear, because NPR is funded by lots of shit, and what they say is not unbiased. And the same for lots of organizations, but you can still get a lot of good information from those places, but you have to understand that some of it, they're not telling the whole story the whole time.
Yeah. No, I stopped paying attention to NPR on a regular basis, and now I check in with them only on like a reference basis. So when it comes to like, I'll see shit somewhere, and then looking up how, you know what I mean, some shit might be going down or what, I'll check a few different news sources. NPR's on that list, but I no longer follow in a dominant kind of way where I get, where I listen to them regularly, because I got annoyed, Yeah. You get annoyed when it's like, it's one thing when it's like, okay, it's an opinion, this and that, but when it's presented as a news fact, and then you see that it's not a fact, and then you find the redaction on NPR's website, but never addressed on like the radio show where they said it, never like redacted there, no corrections ever made there, only on these like obscure articles that get read by 10 people, 11 when I hit the fucking link, like, that's whack. That's a whack way to be. That's a whack way to present information, and I lost respect for the organization. And of course, I've done that with a lot of places, but NPR was one of those ones that I really thought
you miss, like you. But I think it starts there. Like, it has to start with you, because then you might start even listening to other things that aren't in your viewpoint, but are pretty good content, but also are from an angle, right? Like, but I can listen to, I can't listen to like conservative like radio, but I can listen to like centrist stuff, and I do, more like capitalist economic stuff, but it's definitely a different viewpoint than mine. Still liberal, but definitely a different viewpoint from mine. But when you're exposed to different viewpoints, like personally, and you can just even like listen to something or watch something and not agree with it just in that experience, and kind of hear it and listen and maybe even agree and allow yourself to agree. Because sometimes I think we even just put walls up. Like, you hear this person talking, or this fucking logo's in the corner, and so whatever you say, it's like you're just going to defend against it. And you have to kind of let all of this stuff go and try and take in what you can. And then when you interact with people who are like that, it becomes a lot easier if you can interact with content, at least that way on a personal level. You can then start interacting with people. I had a discussion with an old friend of mine who's, military and in finance now, and we have different viewpoints, and we had a very disagreeing conversation, but we're able to, listen to each other and disagree completely and just be able to talk and even mention like it's nice to be able to do that because it's rare to do that with people, but it doesn't just come naturally to us. It's something you got to work on. And like, that's what I say, like start at least just with your content at trying to get used to listening and hearing a different viewpoint and being able to filter it too. And know where, because people are coming from their own agendas, right? And their own past and their own programming, whatever that is. And you have that too. Everyone does in one way or another. We all have some kind of programming. And if you can respect that in yourself, you can respect it in somebody else. And then you can start hearing that other viewpoint. You can start seeing where you do agree. Because a lot of times we focus on the disagreements that we have and not on the things that we do agree on. But you don't get there in those conversations because most likely you're in that conversation because there's a contention between your views, and that's how it gets brought up. Or maybe it doesn't, you know.
Well, and I think too that there's this like there's this thing that we do where we make, I don't know, so it's like you know, you draw a line in the sand about some stuff, you know, but then we do it with ideas. And I think that's like a dangerous way to go unless it's like a very obvious idea. Like if I have to explain the idea, then I don't think that it should be a staunch line in the sand. And what I mean by that, let me explain. So
Please.
So in an instance like you tell me something that I disagree with, right? And I make the idea of you disagreeing with me a line in the sand where I now place a judgment on you, and then I I now paint you as like
a liberal, a conservative,
a bigot, or whatever. And it's like, I think there are times when our ideas are absolutely bigoted, right? Like those are human thoughts and they come out. But when it's like, I think there are other thoughts that get confused as bigoted, right? That from different perspectives, it might seem bigoted. But when you get a full perspective, you still may not agree, but you can at least understand, oh, you're not standing in a bigoted perspective when you're coming to this conclusion. And I feel like that helps us at least relate to somebody, so that rather than coming to a staunch line in the sand where I'm like, well, I just can't even fucking understand how you would ever feel that way. And it becomes like you must want kids to die because you're pro choice.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, I don't think that's really the cause either way, right? And I think if we stand in our own perspectives only, that we never able to like move over, see somebody else's perspective, disagree with them, but then have a conversation, even if it doesn't change their mind, at least present to them a new perspective, right? And then while in that same way, simultaneously gaining a new perspective, which allows you to dissolve this ultimate judgment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I know that I try to do that myself, but I don't know how to, I don't know, fucking encourage that in a real way, you know? Like I can encourage it a million times out loud, but it doesn't mean that other people even understand what I'm, you know, trying to say. It's a lot of word vomit.
I don't think you can really like, you know, tell them exactly what to do. I think you can maybe like create an environment where that might be more possible. You know, for me would be like hip hop shows, right? Put me in front of like a bunch of people who are not, you know, in rooms where people weren't like me around me, and you have to learn real quick how to be in those environments, right? Like I remember you guys were playing a show. It doesn't even, it's a place still, but it's not the same place it was. This was like 2000 and something, before 2010. You guys were playing a show, a Diamond Boy show, at a pizza place in Old Town Arvada. By day, it was a pizza place. By night, they would clear out all the chairs and tables and stuff and like open it up. And you guys are doing a show there.
The D-Note.
The D-Note.
The D-Note.
The D-Note. And you guys were playing a show.
Shout out to the D-Note.
And some cats were opening for you guys. And like a whole crowd of those, I think they were called like Colorado Casuals or something.
The Casuals. Shout out to the Casuals, boy.
Yeah. All came in and like, that was like my first experience face to face with like a dude who looks like I've only seen in a lowrider magazine kind of fella. And I was like, whoa. And they're like standing all in front of us. And like, there's 20 people at this show. And 7 of them are dudes in those jackets and like posted up in front.
They look like all the little homies. Like, you know, remember on the little quarter one where you get one homie and on the display they had all 6 of them like that? That's what those dudes look like. Grounded.
Yeah. For sure, grounded. That's a good way to put it. But it was my first experience, and like, but that was my entry into seeing like other experiences. And like by the end of the night, like those, I felt uncomfortable at first because it's just like, holy buckets, like I've seen these dudes in the homies. Fucking, I've been there. They're in King Supers like thing. That's where I get my homies from. It's King Supers. Like, let me get 50 cents to get.
And
a
they
homie.
were the homies. Shout out to the Casuals.
Yeah, and I learned and fucking Obvious or 3 the Hard Way at the time. I think they were there that night too. Like, just think of like what all those people did with music that ended up doing whatever they did with it from. Because what was the DJ for that then?
Yeah.
Right?
What are the Casuals now? He's part of he either owns or is head chef or is a co-founder. He's a big somebody at
Really?
Cholo Ass Vegan, which is a I don't know if it's a food truck or if they just, but I know that they do all vegan food. They actually do these jackfruit tamales and shit. And I've seen them before. They look fire. I've never ordered from them. It's been years too. Sorry, y'all. Just so you know, it's on my mind to do one day.
Though they are bomb.
Yeah.
Have you been there? Have you ate them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's one of the homies from the Casuals.
Huh. But yeah, experiences like that, you can create those environments, right? That people can choose to go to. And that's the first step. It's like choosing to go to places that you might not fit in. And I was a kid. You know, I didn't know no better. You guys are my friends. So I was just like, you know, Jose was my friend at the time. Not so much you guys that was before we were like friends, you know? You probably didn't even know really who I was even at that time.
I don't know who you were.
No, Justin. This was like probably
Yeah.
junior year, my junior year.
Oh, then no, I didn't know you then.
This is the Dino. Like that place has been 3 different businesses since then.
I thought you were talking about high school. I definitely knew you after high school like that.
Yeah, after high school, but this was
I
like
graduated in 2005, boy.
I think it was that early because
Nah, this would have been like 09. It would have been pre-2010, but it was like 09.
Okay. Either way,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't really know no better that those dudes would even be there, that I was going to be in that situation, but hip hop put me in that situation. First time I went to a Dead Prez show, those dudes were not about the white folks in the crowd, and they wanted to let us know, let everybody know, and that was an experience there. Going to Gainesville and teaching in the classrooms that I was teaching in, right? Education brought me to places that I never would have been able to be in a room full of kids who didn't look like me, who came from backgrounds that were so different from me, in a culture in America that just because we're in America does not mean is the same. Florida's a different place. The South is a different place. And the more time you spend in those places, the more you understand about the people there, and you can understand different viewpoints. You can understand where people are coming from when you see how they live, or even just experience people that you normally don't, that aren't just like the people who dress like you, act like you, have families like you, work like you, right? Like, you got to put yourself in these experiences and get comfortable being around people who you're not comfortable around, to be able to have conversations. Because when you look like somebody and you assume that, oh, we're similar, and then that conversation happens about politics and you're like, oh, we're not so similar, and now we're drawing lines in the sand, and now we're defining each other not by just what we look like and our similar interests and the good things, but now we're making this relationship about our definitions about, oh, you wear a gun around all the time, oh, you must be fucking pro pro-life and you must be this, and I start making all these assumptions because of one thing that I have already drawn a line in the sand about, right? People carry guns, that means this. And I blow people's mind being like, I'm a leftist and I believe in guns. Like the conversation I had this last weekend, he's like, well, you shoot guns, how are you a leftist? I'm like, well, brother, you go far enough left.
Hand, like I
That's
bow,
it.
bow.
I just do it left-handed. That's the trick. That's the trick. Just switch. That's why they don't sell so many left-handed guns. They're afraid of the liberals.
Oh man.
See, that's my thing. I don't think guns exist at all.
They don't.
No,
They
I
don't.
don't think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you entirely on guns. There's a lot of things I feel like that. Even just stuff that I like. I don't even have a full on opinion of this or that. I'm just like aware of like the stuff that's going on. You know, I'm just like aware of you know, things that are coming out. So then I start talking about stuff and people assume that I'm like,
Yeah. And people do it in the positive too.
All
like,
this or all of that. And I'm like, oh man.
Like when my client assumed that we were pretty much on the same page politically because I was like, hey, let's go shoot guns sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. And then we have this conversation. His mind was a little bit like, where are you coming from? What are you talking about China like this for? He's a veteran, right? Like, he's like, what are you talking about China like that? You don't talk about China like that. And he's half Filipino. So he's got, you know, that's a sensitive thing. But we still had a really good conversation. We were also stuck in the car in a snowstorm driving to
That'll
fucking
do it.
Castle Rock and shit. But it was still a great conversation, and it's just good. And you have to try in those situations. You have to like swallow your pride in some of those conversations and know that like sometimes you're wrong, or even sometimes that when people say things that hurt you or you feel really like riled up about, right? And we all get riled up about stuff, but having the kind of presence of mind and being in the moment of knowing that's a reaction, not a response that you need to give. And that's something you should check out later and think about, but then just listen to the person that you're next to.
Well, I think with that we can start wrapping up. I also agree. I think that experiencing other motherfuckers, talking to people, and especially talking to motherfuckers that you don't normally talk to.
And don't do this on the internet. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
don't try and do this on the internet. There's too many barriers through that medium to be effective. All it does is cause problems, and it's built to cause problems. It's built to put the comment that's negative in front of you instead of the one that's positive or the one that's informative, which is the more important thing here. You can't rely on the social media platforms to do this in your world.
No doubt.
When I say engage with your content, that's where you might engage with that, and you can do it on your own, do some of that own work, but you can't have these conversations through that medium. You can have them, I guess I would say, voice to voice is the best. Whatever the way you can make a voice to voice conversation happen,
no doubt,
is the best, because there's inflection, and you can hear when somebody's passionate about something that it would hurt them if you like started cutting down their politics, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll get to that point of you'll have conversations that are deep, and you won't want to like jump on them because you hear them, and you really hear them and are listening, and it can be a really opening experience, but it's not easy.
No doubt. One, I mean, I think humans are creatures of a specific programming, just like everything else, you know.
Yeah.
We have our own instincts that are based on programming. One of those is pattern recognition, you know. And so as humans, we're programmed to recognize patterns, and we sometimes allow our pattern recognition to become part of our intuition. And I feel like that's both helpful as humans, you know, but it's also, it puts us in this thing where you start saying one little thing or start saying, you know, saying it some way, and there's just this click where like, now I know exactly what you mean, and it's really hard. I know exactly who you are, and I know exactly what you're about now, you know, and it's really hard to like let that go, like erase it, you know what I mean, like pull that down. But I feel like it's super duper important to do that often, even if, you know what I mean, 50, 60, 70% of the time the person does exactly what you're expecting. It only takes a few to really learn the intricate nuances of people's thoughts and then how relatable they end up being. You know what I mean? Over time and after you talk to motherfucker, and I feel like most of our judgments against people are profoundly naive, you know, and it just takes experience. In any case,
let me say one last thing.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think you have to, well, I'll just say this. Joy is found just after that uncomfortable moment.
No doubt.
In life. And the more you can just embrace that and understand that if you want to get on this path or any path, you have to understand that joy in this path is found right after that uncomfortable moment.
No doubt.
But you got to get through it, and you can.
No doubt. And you can absolutely be not only cordial. I mean, one of my best friends in the world is somebody that we have a ton of shit we agree on, even politically. You know, especially politically, I mean. But there's some really, heavy things that we just disagree on. And he's one of my best friends, and I could, and instead of letting that, his perspective make me judge him as something that I know he's not, I just make fun of him for it. And then he does the same to me,
Yeah.
and he makes fun of me for the things that we disagree on. And it just becomes an easy game between us because we know we agree on so much more, and especially the heavy, the really important things of like, respect and community and, love, and I feel like those are the most important things, that we forget those for the other nuances, or sometimes we let those little things, you know what I mean, paint what you must not like love or community or something, because of different perspectives, and it's just not true. And allow yourself to get past those uncomfortable stages, and you find not only joy in yourself, sometimes you find your best friends. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And
that's my dog. I could count on that dude for anything in the world.
And that is Justin's endorsement of Marianne Williamson for president 2024. We're doing it. That's the podcast tonight.
No, that's my endorsement for Andrew Lewandowski.
He's making up people
2024. No, that's my dude. That's one of my best friends.
Save it for the next one, Andrew.
Drew Nasty. All right. Anything else, Eric?
Give us something. On camera, you got the wireless mic. You can at least come out here and say it.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Banter.
Watermelon.
Vote Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, okay. Not in the race anymore. But what's that name? What's that lady's name? Haley?
Oh my God,
Nicholas
Nikki
Haley. Nikki Haley. She's doing an event next weekend, like 5 minutes from here at the Wings Over the Rockies Museum, who also had Agent Orange, had Agent Orange on their little placard. Agent Orange, a chemical that was distributed for farming use in the southeastern region. And look up what Agent Orange actually is.
Yeah.
What a wild thing.
It was something like, I took a picture of it because I was like, holy shit. And I was with somebody and she was like, what? And I'm like, they're painting Agent Orange as a thing that was helpful.
It's just a silly little chemical. That's about it.
A silly little thing.
A silly little guy.
It wasn't traumatizing to Vietnam.
I will say that museum is fucking badass because there's cool. Full size planes in there. But yeah, she's doing an event there soon, and I thought about going. I don't know if it's on Saturday or Sunday.
You should.
But,
Sure there's really
I'll be out of
40
town.
people there.
Oh yeah, I think I'll be out of town. I think it's this week.
Have you ever been to a concert there?
No.
So I went there once for they'll do the quartet covers of bands, and it was like a Queen little cover thing. It was tight. They had quartet in the middle and then just seats all around it. It was tight.
Yeah, I fuck with Lowry. It's a nice little area, except for the whole this is what this museum's about. This is propaganda museum. I get it. But the planes are fucking cool. Like, it's cool to see the planes. Like, I gotta say that. They're like machines of war that like killed millions of people. But also, planes are cool. Planes are fucking cool. Well, technically, those are jets.
Technology's cool.
Technically, those are jets, I learned. Planes, propellers. Gotta have a propeller to be a plane. Everything else is a jet. All the shit that we fly on, jets, not planes. Jets. Yeah. You gotta have a propeller to be a plane.
And that's our fun fact for the day.
I'll have one next time. And you might be disappointed. I will say you might be disappointed. Because if this week you go on to Spotify and you look for your fucking LRVT podcast update, you see the boys are putting on their 3 songs each time. And you go there and you're going to see an empty playlist if you go there right now.
Yep. We're restarting for the year of 2024. And the first 9 tracks will go up this evening.
And if you're missing the old playlist, we're going to make the throwback 2023 playlist remembrance, RIP playlist that you'll be able to find. We'll share with you so you can catch still all. There's 100 plus songs on that playlist, some great ones. You'll still be able to check that out. We're going to build that out for you. Give us some time because Spotify is not kind about making playlists in bulk or like do anything kind of like quickly. So give us some time on that. But check out the new podcast. Please like it. Or not podcast. Check out the playlist. Please like it. We need the likes on there. We want to see that you guys are engaging there. And
here too, we need the like, subscribes, share, even if amongst just a couple homies in the messages that might find
hit the
our
copy
conversation.
link button. I'm sure just like hit share and copy link. I think that does something.
Yeah.
You don't even have to paste it anywhere. Just copy it.
Hell
Do us a favor. Get us in the algorithms and tell that weird coworker at the water fountain that hey, don't drink from the water fountain. It's pretty unsanitary.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's how you get COVID.
I listen to this podcast. What's our podcast about? What should people tell them that our podcast is about?
I don't know. You know what? We'll actually think about that, and we'll do that next time because I feel like it's a good time to announce, too, that we are going to start implementing a few segments within the conversation. So rather than just ranting the way we kind of have always done things, we're going to try to make things a little more predictable in some ways and then maintain the rants in other ways, maybe guide the rants and do some fun shit. Some viewers' choice topics and shit like that. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram and X, and that's where we're going to post that shit. And otherwise, holla at your motherfuckers. I'm out.
Look out for Eric's phone number for our tip line for anything that you want to say to the podcast. We'll talk to you next time. 1 month.
My favorite section is going to be Eric's Corner, and that's where I just sit in a corner for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's the same thing he does for his OnlyFans.